Eat Lux your way with the Lux Cravings boxes from Taco Bell. There's the classic $5 box, the indulgent $7 box, and a whole new obsession in the $9 box, the Flamin' Hot Grilled Cheese Burrito. Try the Lux Cravings boxes at Taco Bell today.
Find your sun with Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Cold, refreshing, and made for moments like these all year long. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim. It's the only thing like it in the world.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
How's your day going?
Going good. Thank you. Yes.
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
Really, guys?
What? Jackson's always has those game ready.
Let's go!
Hey Bronco Nation, this is Boise State football wide receiver Ben Ford. I've had to face some setbacks on the field this past season, but toughness isn't about staying down. It's about getting back up. I am proud to represent Lithia Ford of Boise, where you can find the largest selection of Ford trucks that are built tough and, like me, handle the hits and keep pushing forward. Come check out the incredible inventory and competitive pricing at Lithia Ford of Boise. And when you buy here, you're not just getting a truck, you're supporting Boise State athletics and Lithia Ford NIL partnerships. Come see us at Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
It's time for the Jacksons Postgame Show on Bronco Nation News. We're breaking down the game with highlights, interviews, analysis, and most importantly, you. Give your thoughts on the game in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a message on the Signature Roofing voice box at speakpipe.com/BNN. The BNN Postgame Show is presented by Jacksons, where you can get a 99-cent 16-ounce coffee or refill with Let's Go Rewards. Need snacks or a cold drink? Visit one of the 300 Jacksons locations today. BNN broadcasts come from the Sun Cruiser Studios. Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea, made with real iced tea and real vodka. It's refreshingly smooth and easy to drink. Crack open a Sun Cruiser and let the good times cruise. Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise, and our major sponsors, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, RoadPaint.com, and the Blue and Orange Store. At Lithia Ford of Boise, we're proud to stand with Boise State athletics. Through our NIL marketing partnerships, we're investing in the future of student athletes. Lithia Ford of Boise, here to get you there, wherever that may be. Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho. Now let's go courtside to the Sun Cruiser Studios and join BJ Rains for the Jacksons Postgame Show on Bronco Nation News.
All right, welcome courtside here at the Thomas and Mack Center. My name is BJ Rains. This is Nathan Carroll. This is the Jacksons Postgame Show. Boise State falls 84-74 in the opening round of the Mountain West Tournament. First opening round loss in Mountain West Tournament history for Boise State. They had never lost in this round. Already have 93 comments in the hopper. We're going to get to all of those. We're going to hear from Leon Rice, hear from some players. A lot to get to here on the Jacksons Postgame Show. Difficult loss for Boise State. And I had a guy in the band walking by in the Boise State band. He stops me. He says, BJ, how many comments are there going to be about Leon Rice getting fired tonight? He goes over under of 20. And I said, we're probably already at 30. So I haven't even looked at the comments yet, but I'm sure there's going to be a ton of them. Vent your frustration to us. Let us know your thoughts on this game, this program, this season. And we're not going to sugarcoat it here. I mean, you're a 15-point favorite. I don't know if I'm quite going to go as one of the worst losses in program history, but, in terms of the Leon Rice era, to be a 15-point favorite, to come in with as much momentum as they had, 15 in a row. We mentioned it. San Jose State had won 3 games in 3 months, only 1 game in the last 3 months to a team not named Air Force. So it's just about as brutal of a loss as you can imagine. It's a horrible loss. It wasn't good. And for me, Boise State goes 5 of 23. Many of those 3-pointers were wide open. They just couldn't hit a shot, couldn't get any momentum going. They shoot 37.9% from the field. Meanwhile, San Jose was just hitting those pull-up jumpers, hitting huge threes. And once they got their confidence rolling, they had no problem just letting it fly. And really, really impressive game. Kobe Garland ends up with 22 points. Washington at 18, so their starting guards have 40. They shoot 50% in the second half, 49.2% from the game. And, again, San Jose State hits 9 threes tonight. Boise State goes just 5 of 23, only 7 assists for Boise State. Nathan, I'm going to let you do most of this while I go to the post-game interviews. But just for me, really surprising, shocking loss. But when you think about it, it really shouldn't be. Right. I mean, when you really put it into context, this season, this team, and Boise State, loses to Hawaii Pacific in the first game, loses as a 15-point favorite to 11 seed in the conference tournament to end the season. Kind of fitting. And we said really this team was either we shouldn't be surprised if they win the whole tournament or if they lose in the first round. And an up and down season. Tonight we got the down, and they just didn't play good. San Jose State got some confidence, hit some shots, and again, not going to sugarcoat it tonight. I'm not going to call for Leon Rice to be fired. It's not happening. We've talked about it. If you want other changes to the coaching staff, overhaul to the roster, everything's on the table for me except Leon Rice. I'm not going to go there. It's not worth the time. He's not going to get fired. And the buyout's just too high, and he's done too much for this program. So I'm just not going to go there. And if that's what you want me to say, you can just stop watching. Apologize. But with that said, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. It was a very, very bad loss. One of the worst losses probably in the Leon Rice era as a 15.5-point favorite in the conference tournament. Very bad loss. And is going to make it, for a tough offseason for this program. A lot of changes probably coming. We'll see. But again, 15-point favorite. You lose this game, and just from the start, just never really got some momentum. Never really got it going. Couldn't, every time they'd come back and take the lead, San Jose State would come right back. And I sent you a text about midway through the second half, and I said they're in trouble, and they just couldn't get anything going tonight. Very, very bad upset loss, stunning loss. And a tough one for Boise State. They fall 84-74, 156 comments in the hopper for you to deal with, Nathan. I am going to get back to the post-game interviews with Boise State. They're getting ready to do their post-game press conference, and then we'll have some locker room access, so we'll try to talk to some players. Abe Jackson will join you here in about 15 minutes or so, and then I'll come back on after I go to the locker room. San Jose State's finishing up their press conference now. Boise State will be heading here shortly, so I'm going to head back to the presser. But again, my thoughts, 10-point loss, bad loss, ugly loss. Just heard Mike Burns say they were the aggressor on the radio, and they really just played with confidence and swagger, and Boise State just never really got into a rhythm, never really got it going, and very, very bad loss for Boise State. Upset loss and disappointing, frustrating. I'm sure all of you are. But again, kind of fitting for how this season went. Horrible loss in the first game, horrible loss in the last game, and now it starts an off-season of questions and an off-season of change, and I'm sure you'll tackle all of that as well. Yep. But tough one for Boise State tonight. Again, they shoot just 38%, 5 for 23 from three-point range. Give it up to Jaden Buchanan, 28 points, but he goes 0 of 5 from 3, and Boise State just couldn't hit enough open shots tonight, and they fall in upset fashion. Really ugly loss for Boise State, 84-74. So, Nathan, I'm going to let you take over for a while, and I'll go do some interviews, and 175 comments in there. Good luck, and I'll be back probably in about 30 minutes or so, man.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks, BJ. I'm going to we're going to do a little maneuvering so I can get myself center a screen here. But, yeah, I mean, BJ said it. It's a bad loss. It's a brutal loss, and, I tweeted it out, but I'd say it's unfathomable, but we saw it already. This was week 1 Hawaii Pacific all over again. Boise State early in the game playing with their food, letting San Jose stick around. The defense, especially early, was just non-existent. And by the time Boise State ramped up the intensity and decided to get involved in the game, it was too late. San Jose State had built their confidence. They'd built momentum. And then the offense just wilted late for Boise State. Early in the game in that first half, the Broncos were scoring. They were keeping up with San Jose State. But in the second half, couldn't hit threes, couldn't hit layups. If not for their free throw shooting, they go 25 of 30. Broncos, I mean, this could have been a 20-point loss. Jaden Buchanan, the one guy who I think you have to highlight with a great game, had 28 points, 13 rebounds, like never any effort issues with Jaden Buchanan tonight. What could very likely be his last game as a Bronco. Now, who knows if Boise State goes to the Crown or the NIT or something like that. That's a discussion for another time. But, for now, we'll say it's 20-12. It's the worst season since 2019-2020 for Boise State after a really nice run of success here where you're in and around in the tournament or around the tournament picture. They fall well short of it. And with a loss like this, it's well short of it. I think, Burns just said it on radio, but San Jose State was the aggressor. They were the more physical basketball team. I thought Boise State looked uncomfortable with how physical San Jose State was playing. And San Jose State played with a tremendous amount of confidence. If you took the records away, had never watched these two teams before, you probably would have thought that San Jose State was the 20-11 team who was fighting for potentially being sort of a Cinderella in this Mountain West tournament that could cut down the nets and steal a bit at the NCAA tournament. They did not look like a team who had essentially beaten one they've beaten one non-Air Force team in their last 19 games. They were 1-18. And tonight's performance didn't show it at all. They played with a tremendous amount of confidence, and Boise State just defensively could never get enough stops, allowed 1.2 points per possessions. Offensively, just by the time it felt late, they were just pressing, trying to get it all back at once, and that's the recipe for an upset. That's a recipe for a 10-point loss against San Jose State. I think you got to give credit to Tim Miles as well. I think he's a really, really good coach. We said it that it's kind of a year from hell for them. They had 6 guys out tonight with injuries, but Tim Miles finds a way. I thought the defensive game plan was really, really good. They trapped and blitzed Boise State regularly to the tune of led to 12 turnovers for the Broncos. Boise State really struggled when getting doubled, whether it was Jaden Buchanan or Dylan Andrews or Spencer Aarons or Drew Fielder. Multiple times where guys get doubles, which led into bad decisions, which led to turnovers. And again, credit San Jose State. They hit shots. They played really well. They played with heart and intensity, but it's a disappointing loss and a disappointing season, and there's no sugarcoating it. I mean, it's going to be an off season of questions, whether it's who transfers in, who transfers out, or what changes need to be made. Is it at the top? Is it on the coaching staff? And I got this in the article that we'll have come in at some point tonight, or if you're rewatching this, it's posted earlier in the morning. But is this just what Boise State basketball is? Is the Tyson Dagenhart era the exception, and this sort of middling, mid-major team just where Boise State's going to land? There will be plenty of questions this offseason, and some of them will be warranted, some of them won't. BJ touched on the Leon Rice thing. It's a $5 million buyout. He's not going anywhere. Just the economics of it Doesn't make sense. Not going to happen. But there's going to be change throughout the roster. So if you aren't already getting the ICCU chat, drop your comments. 250 of them. A very lively crowd. So I'll go through the last about 10 minutes or so and just start diving into some of these comments and some of these thoughts and touching on them, because it's going to be a safe space for you guys. Your Boise State fans, let it out, grieve. The season's over. Time for some of the more logical thoughts what can come in the offseason. Let the emotions fly. Needed quicker guards to defend for sure. I go beyond the guards. I don't know if anyone played well defensively tonight. Very little intensity on the defensive side of the ball. Just multiple blow-bys, multiple guys getting, consistently guys are getting beat off the dribble, slow to their rotations, missed switches. There was nothing good defensively that I saw tonight. I don't think anyone played well defensively, let alone the guards. Didn't come to play. Anyone excited for Leon to come back next year? There will be plenty of those conversation. Love this team, always going to support, but whoa. And I think it's a tough loss. And I think the surprising part is not that it could happen. We knew that this could happen. We saw it against Hawaii Pacific. I thought this team had gotten over the hump of sleepwalking through lower competition games. When San Jose State had kept the game close in Boise, it wasn't because Boise State slept-walked through that game. It was because San Jose State was hitting shots. Boise State was playing with intensity. And eventually, Boise State were the superior team, and it came through. I thought in the first half tonight, in particular, really slept-walked through that game. Can BJ relay all the boos? Not that many boo birds. It wasn't like a host of boos coming from Boise State fans and Bronco Nation tonight. That was just not the case. Puking sick at work, needs some Pepto. Sorry, John. Your son played well. Jamie Buchanan played his heart out, man. Potentially his last game as a Bronco. We'll see if there's any NAIA additional eligibility stuff. But 28-13, he played really, really well. Sucked from beginning to end. Leon is cooked. Your UNLV San Jose State Championship future slip. That's one that's probably going to bankrupt whatever book you pulled that one from, because I don't think anyone has that. Shouldn't get fired, better to resign. Yeah, there's going to be lots and lots of Leon talk. Feel bad for Buchanan. He was literally, James Buchanan was consistent all year, and was there tonight. Brought the energy, brought the effort, but just didn't come through. 12 turnovers. Yep, the turnovers were absolutely an issue for Boise State tonight. And then bookended the season with 2 losses. Again, I'll preview the article that I'll have coming out later tonight, but talk about how most seasons you don't talk about the bookends, right? You talk about the chapters in the middle, right? When we think about the 2022 team, some people will talk about the loss to Memphis, but for the most part, it's winning the regular season, the win over San Diego State, winning the Mountain West Conference tournament. Like, those are the moments you remember. Even last year, right? It's not the loss at the end of the year to Nebraska that people will talk about. It's the shot against New Mexico. It's losing to Colorado State and Leon kind of blowing up the rotation. But this year, this is a season people are going to talk about the bookends. You open the season with a loss to D2 Hawaii Pacific. You end the season to a loss against 11 seed San Jose State in the Mountain West tournament. Just a bookended season, and it's not something that you come across often. PJ feeding Nathan to the Wolves. No, because look, I try to be pragmatic about it and try my best to be not emotional about it, but also, I'm an alumni. I'm with a lot of you guys here and feeling the emotions of it. In Sick Modern, and the Vandals are dancing. For a lot of Boise State fans, might be some of the worst for it. But I should resign too, Dominic. Come on, what did I do to deserve that? Paulie Pepperoni and Grand Tetons have sourced $5 million for the buyout. Still going. Continue to get your comments in the ICCU YouTube chat. No, BJ's not ducking the smoke. He's just going and getting the interviews so that you guys can see what Leon Rice and the players have to say. This is we do this pretty regularly. When I'm around, I'll host the start of the show. So don't throw any shade at BJ for the way he's gone about it. Some more comments here. Blom seems like a good, coachable kid. Yeah, Blom, only positive things, and we're going to talk a lot about it. But future of this team and who stays, who goes. It's going to be the talk of the offseason. If you're just joining us, Boise State falls to San Jose State 84-74 in the first round of the Mountain West tournament. We will have BJ Rains coming back later. We'll have interviews with Leon Rice and players and their thoughts during post-game press conferences. I think here shortly we'll also have Abe Jackson joining us to talk through a really stunning loss for the Broncos in this one. Some more of these comments from the ICCU YouTube chat. As a season ticket holder, alumni, dedicated fan, better product has to be put out on the floor. And I think that's, I don't know how you could deny that. Like I said, 20-12, worst season for the Broncos in 6 years, and just came nowhere near expectations this season, and particularly this game. And I wrote an article after they blew a 23-point lead to UNLV, and I put in one of the subtitles in there, an offense good enough to compete with anyone, and a defense bad enough that could lose to anybody. And that's what we saw tonight. The offense was not quite there, but the defense was very, very bad. So we're going to take a quick we'll do this. We'll do a couple of ad reads from some of the sponsors while we have Abe Jackson come join us. Lithia Ford of Boise, our title sponsor. So thankful for Lithia Ford of Boise and the work that they do with Boise State and their support of Bronco Nation News. Lithia Ford of Boise, if you're looking for a new car, head on down to Lithia Ford of Boise. Got the new all-wheel drive cards. Ford begins in Idaho there at Lithia Ford of Boise. If you're just joining us, Sun Cruiser Studios, there's going to be Sun Cruisers flowing tonight. No doubt about it. I think between the fans, maybe the team, it's when the season ends, there's going to be the Sun Cruisers flowing. If you haven't had one, real vodka, real iced tea, real lemonade, delicious, fantastic. Make sure you go get a Sun Cruiser. ICCU, if you aren't already, go bank with ICCU. I work in the world of finance, that high-yield online savings, that high-yield savings. They offer really good competitive rates. Best way to do it is open up that phone, download the ICCU app, and get on and start banking with ICCU. Thank you for their support of Bronco Nation News. All right, we've got Abe Jackson here joining us after a scoot over a little bit so you can get some more room there. A pretty stunning defeat. I said it's not unfathomable because we pretty much saw it against Hawaii Pacific, a lot of the same DNA, but nevertheless, a game I was shocked, stunned, did not expect Boise State to lose in this fashion, but they go down 84-74. And where does this loss start for you? Because there's a whole lot of bad in a whole lot of places, but what's the first thing that drew your eye after seeing this sort of defeat?
Well, I felt like the Broncos couldn't finish inside. Mm-hmm. I felt like there was so many times they would get the ball at the hoop and they would just be challenged and out-toughed at the rim and weren't fouling, weren't going through bodies, weren't taking the contact and finishing, or doing a shot fake and getting the foul and getting to the line, which they've been so good at. I mean, the Broncos should have dominated in the paint, and they only outscored them 34-32 with points in the paint. So that was the thing that really stood out to me. That turnovers in the first half, of course. I mean, there were turnovers that looked like they couldn't hold on to the ball, and then the one with 9 seconds where you're up 1 and you could have gone up even more, and then they hit a 3 and now you're down 2. Big swing. I know it's still a close game, but still for a team that only won 3 games in conference in San Jose that's looking for any type of thing to give them confidence. You go into halftime against Boise State, who's dominated you over the years, and you're up at halftime in the conference tournament. That gives you some hope and some momentum, and they went with it. But for me, it really was inside. It was not being able to finish through contact and just getting kind of out-toughed at the rim.
Yeah, it's stunned. I guess one of the more stunning parts of this game, if there was one strength you'd say with Boise State this season, they're a tough team. They're a physical team. And San Jose State, we'd prefaced it. They'd pretty much had no rim protection, one of the worst 2-point defenses in the entire country this year. And San Jose State was the more physical team tonight, absolutely rose to the occasion. But Boise State did get 1 point with 7 of 19 on layups, which is, typically you want to be 60%, definitely not well below 50%. You combine that with 5 of 23 shooting from the 3-point line. And then conversely, San Jose State shoots where was it? I believe it was 59% from 2-point range. Boise State themselves, I mean, they couldn't stop, and they couldn't stop San Jose State at the rim. But you talked about the turnovers. I thought Tim Miles' really good game plan was blitzing and doubling often on this game. And it just seemed like Boise State didn't have answers when they were getting doubled. But, I mean, with the turnovers, is that something that you felt like San Jose State, like as they started to get into a rhythm and built momentum, like that Boise State was sort of playing into that a little bit more? Or was it just San Jose State came out and credit to them, played more physical? Where are some of your thoughts on like the mentality of where this game went, especially in that second half?
I mean, they just in every aspect took it to the Broncos. I mean, they were more physical than the Broncos were. They had more active hands in creating loose balls and in getting some of the loose balls and the challenging at the hoop. And then we couldn't stop their guards. I mean, they would run a good offense to make the Broncos switch and put one of their bigs on Washington or Garland. And, Garland had a run where he hit 2 or 3 mid-range jumpers that stretched the lead. And then Washington had back-to-back plays where he took the big guys. So, credit San Jose State. They're running offense to get them in a favorable position with the ball. And then those quick guards, it's been what the Broncos have struggled with all year. The Broncos are good against teams that are complete, I don't know how to put this, not individual one-on-one type players. Like in New Mexico, they're successful against them. They're successful against the San Diego State because they don't have those individual one-on-one players. But Utah State does, Nevada does, UNLV does with Gibbs Lawhorn. And then tonight, 2 players from San Jose State, Washington and Garland, are those individual one-on-one players. And, they just flat out beat the Broncos. They did.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, and I think the way because we were talking about this last night, it's like this team has been great against great teams, but they've struggled against great players.
Individuals, yep.
And tonight it was the great players stepping up for San Jose State. And, offensively, because defensively, the San Jose State can do this. They can get hot. They've done that at times this year. But Boise State's offense has been so good for so long. And then you alluded to some of the not being able to get to the rim and get open shots, but then to not hit anything from 3. How does an offense that had been so hot seemingly overnight just sort of capitulate like that against the San Jose State defense, who's been historically bad?
Well, I think it's just what's happened during the season.
Yeah.
I mean, you have these super lows. And then you have these crazy highs. You lose to Hawaii Pacific, and then you go and you beat St. Mary's on a neutral court. You go into Butler and you beat them and have a great game. And now you're thinking things are great. And then the conference starts and your defense completely disappears and you lose 4 in a row. Then you back that up with 5 or 6 straight wins or whatever it was to get yourself right back into it. And then you blow a 17-point lead with 9 minutes left against UNLV, and then you I feel like there's no middle ground with this team. It's like you have these flashes of really great, and then it's followed up with just this huge letdown. And it's kind of like what we saw. I mean, 5 games in a row, hottest team in the league, offense is clicking, defense is clicking, and then just complete opposite of what we've seen happen tonight.
Yeah, and it really is. We've even seen it within games, right? You take a 23-point lead against UNLV and then find a way to blow it. You're down 20 against, or 25, I think, even against San Diego State. You find a way to push it back and get into overtime, but just these high highs, these low lows.
You're up 20 or a little bit more against Nevada in the second half.
Yep.
And then they come back and send it to overtime. You did get that win, but you're right. It's just been this roller coaster of ups and downs throughout game to game. And you're right, even half to half.
Yeah, and I think there were some individual highlights. Jaden Buchanan, 28 and 13. I thought played his tail off in what is probably his final game as a Bronco. Who knows if they go do the Crown or the NIT or something again. But in terms of like meaningful basketball towards pursuing a national championship, an NCAA tournament appearance, his final game as a Bronco. I thought Andrew Meadow did some nice things, 17.6 rebounds, but just really no one outside of those 2 guys. I mean, Drew Fielder, who's all Mountain West, 3 of 7 from the floor, finishes with 12 points and 6 rebounds. The point guard play, which was an issue early in conference play, non-existent tonight. Dylan Andrews finishes the game 2 of 6 with just 8 points, 0 assists from Dylan Andrews.
I mean, you can go down the line, and it's that no one had a great game. I mean, Buchanan played well. I mean, he didn't shoot the ball particularly well with
7 of 18
with his percentage, but he got to the line a lot. and you just couldn't stop. You couldn't stop the guards. You couldn't stop them. And then when they start knocking down shots, some of the other guys are starting to knock down some step back threes, and it just snowballed, and season done.
Yeah, well, and season's done. I mean, put a bow on it. How do you describe this season? I don't think many of us expected tonight to be the night that we're putting a bow on it, but it's tumultuous season, high highs, low lows. How would you describe this 25-26 season for the Broncos?
Just roller coaster. I mean, just kind of, you think they got it, and then it goes down, and then you think they got it, and it goes down. I mean, there's just been, highs and lows, not a lot of middle ground. I mean, that's kind of what I'm going to remember about this season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just the inconsistencies of it all, and not knowing what to expect on a night-to-night basis. But give us, Abe, we appreciate you coming on, you joining us. Give us just your final thoughts on this game, and what we hoped would be a 3 or 4 day trip down here in Las Vegas, all of a sudden turning into a one night trip. Some final thoughts.
I don't know. It's hard to put in perspective and in thoughts. I can't remember being out in this round. I don't know if the Broncos have been, maybe early on in the Mountain West.
First time in program history.
First time in program history. So,
yep.
Kind of hard to put it all into words, but yeah, season done.
Yeah, I think about this. Even the 13-20 team in 2018-2019, they were able to get out of this first round. And this team that, I said plus 875. This could be a kind of a dark horse to go win the thing, and they're out against a team who was 1-18 against non-Air Force teams to finish the year. So incredibly disappointing. Abe, I guess final time this season.
It is.
It's been the season's been tumultuous, but it's been a blast having you on and
been a good time
to do this
for
with
sure.
you. So,
for sure.
Abe Jackson, the best. Thank you for joining us. We'll get a couple more words in from some of our sponsors. Big thank you to Jacksons, who's been with us here, especially here on the Jacksons Postgame Show. 75-cent fountain drink anytime the Broncos score 75 or more. Come up just short of that number, scored 74 tonight. But Jacksons, we appreciate their support. And then, as always, go get that 99-cent coffee or hot chocolate at your local Jacksons. Taco Bell, big thank you to Taco Bell. It's we're approaching 11:30 here in Las Vegas, and as the hours tick away, we might have to go find a Taco Bell on the way home or on the way back to Circa to get a bite before bedtime. But Taco Bell, big thank you to the Nick Layson family, the SON Management Group. Taco Bell, go check out your local Taco Bell in the Treasure Valley. Hey, how about the Blue and Orange store? They've got the location at the mall there on campus in the Allen Noble Hall of Fame. Go check out the Blue and Orange store for all of your Boise State gear. With the season over, the off season is on the horizon, and a batch of returning players and new players will come in and give you guys the chance to go get the new jerseys, the new merch, the new goods. So be sure to go support the sponsors there at the Blue and Orange store. Appreciate all that they do. And hey, how about Matt Bauscher and Bauscher Real Estate? #1 selling real estate team, not just in the Treasure Valley, not just in Idaho, but now in the Northwest. That whole team there, they're going to help you buy or sell your home. The absolute best service that you can get in the Treasure Valley. Matt Bauscher, he wants to work with you. He wants to work for you. 208-252-9877. Matt Bauscher, Bauscher Real Estate, appreciate their support of Bronco Nation News. All right, if you're just joining us, Boise State falls 74-84. Get your thoughts and comments in the ICCU YouTube chat. Got 150 of them since we last chatted with you guys. If you're looking for BJ, he'll be coming on soon. He's getting interviews with Leon Rice and Boise State players at the press conferences. He'll be back. We'll play those interviews, get some final thoughts on this game and this season. Peek behind the curtain. We came into this saying, Boise State 15-point favorites, can maybe go a little shorter tonight, try to get back to the hotel, get some decent sleep before a morning of basketball and, the quarterfinals tomorrow. But instead, we're probably going to go long tonight to be able to get all of the end of season thoughts. The last one here on the Jacksons Postgame Show. Just a stunning defeat that even at halftime, they're down 2. I told BJ, I was like 80-70. I think Boise State still finds a way to win this game by 10. And sure enough, the other way, it's San Jose State by 10. But let's get into some more comments here in the ICC YouTube chat. As active as the YouTube chat as we've seen, we appreciate you guys being in. Abe is going to go puke. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that, even though you try your best to be objective and take some of the emotions out of it, at the same time, it's when you're an alumni, like you feel it and you want what's best for the team. And we were all looking forward to hopefully seeing a 3 or 4 game run down here in Vegas, and just not the case. Some more comments in here. A lot of Leon vitriol. I get it. If you missed it earlier, we talked about it, but it's a $5 million buyout. It's not going to happen. Maybe if changes are going to come, maybe elsewhere on the coaching staff, there will be changes on the roster without a doubt. But the Leon Rice thing, I'm not even going to say you're wrong if you're in that boat. You're welcome to your beliefs, but just telling you that it's, $5 million, not going to happen. Boucher fund's going to slowly stop. He can't be pleased. I doubt that. Matt Boucher loves the program, wants to continue to support them. DA is trying to sell it. They're playing their best basketball in March. Joke. Look, to some extent, he was right. Over the last 14, 15 games, Boise State was number 1 in the Mountain West, and Bart Torvik, like, this team had put some things together, and just did not come together tonight. Was not playing their best basketball. So we're joined once again by BJ Rains, fresh off of.
How are the comments coming?
Comments are plentiful and generally, yeah, no problem. Generally not happy, not excited. I guess we'll put it that way. So, but how did post-game press conferences go?
Just to be completely transparent, I did not make it to the actual press conference.
Okay.
I had to choose locker room or press conference. Thought we would get some better stuff from the locker room. Ended up getting a one-on-one with Andrew Meadow and Pearson Carmichael. We're putting those in the system right now here. Requested Drew Fielder. He was supposed to be available. There was 4 minutes left. They said you have to pick someone, Fielder or Keene. I picked Fielder. They let everybody else go, and then Fielder walked out and declined to talk. So he just being completely transparent. We requested Drew Fielder. Every player is supposed to be made available to the media, and he didn't want to talk tonight. So understandable. I'm not ripping him for not talking, but just saying we did try to talk to Drew Fielder, who this season has been very gracious with his time. They've sent him out after a lot of losses to have to talk to the media. But Drew Fielder did not want to talk.
He's a fiery guy, plays with it on the court. It's like you said, you're not ripping him, but it makes sense. It's a frustrating loss. And, would have been great to hear what he had to say, but also I get it.
And I would say, on just kind of summing it up, Pearson Carmichael, and again, take some of this with a grain of salt. They're 20 minutes after the game in terms of transfer portal and all that stuff. They're not going to go, yeah, I'm gone or whatever. I understand that. But so take it with a grain of salt. But I did ask both guys, and I would say Pearson Carmichael was much more committal about being back next season. Andrew Meadow, you'll hear it in a second, was more of a non-answer.
Wow.
Andrew Meadow did not 100% say I'll be back next year. All it takes is one call, whatever. Maybe he's just trying. Maybe it's kind of an unfair question. I get it. I put him in a tough spot. But I did. I think it's fair to ask the question. Also, had staff, Boise State officials kind of hovering, listening into the interview. But hey, I said, I think it's worth asking, and so I said, we'll hear them both. Let's see, who do you want to hear first? Meadow had the bigger game. Let's see who pops up first here. I think it is Meadow. Andrew Meadow. Let's hear this interview now. This is one-on-one. BNN with Andrew Meadow after the game. And it is pretty quiet, just being honest. You may have to turn up your volume a little bit. Neither one of these guys were very loud. Carmichael was even quieter. But here's Andrew Meadow, short interview after the game.
Really frustrating. We really wanted to win. We fought. We've been playing well, and to lose like that, it really hurts.
What did you kind of see as a difference tonight?
I think they were more physical than us. I think the last 2 games we out-rebounded the teams probably by around 40 combined, and, we didn't have that edge tonight, and, it killed us at the end.
Well, they've got some athletes. I know their record's not great, but once they started hitting some shots, how hard did that make it when they were getting some confidence?
Man, they beat Nevada by 17 a couple weeks ago, and we knew that we had to take away their threes and, beat them on the glass, and we just didn't get that done tonight.
Surprising, I guess, with the way you guys were playing. You mentioned them kind of wanting it more and just being the aggressor and stuff. Is that the way you guys played surprising, given how well you've played the last couple weeks?
Yeah, a little bit. I think, we've been clicking. We've had good practices still, and, I'm still, kind of trying to put all my emotions together and process everything, but, it definitely hurts really bad.
How do you look at the season, man? Up and down season obviously started horribly, and you guys rebounded with some nice wins, and it was kind of up and down. I mean, overall, I guess, just because I know with the way it ended, too, I mean, just how do you kind of sum up the season?
Yeah, that's basketball. You're never going to have a perfect season, and, I'm grateful for the battles that we had this year, and I think it's going to make us all better.
Dude, what do you see as being next for this team, and if in terms of being close, and if it seemed like if a lot of you guys decide to come back, that you add a couple pieces, you guys are right there. I mean, do you see the future is bright for this program?
Yeah, I think the future is really bright. I think we have a good core, and we got to just take this off season, get a lot better, and then. Who knows what can happen.
Are you planning to come back? I mean, do you have to think about your options at all, or?
I've been just all focused on the season, and I haven't gave anything any thought. So I've been just all Boise State, and that's where I'm at right now.
All right, so focus on the season, all Boise State. But again, didn't say, yeah, that's the plan or expect to be back next year. I'm sure there'll be a market for a guy like that, but to have 1 year left in college, I mean, there's some value, I think, to finishing your career somewhere. And if he were to come back and have a solid year, I'd be curious, the percentage of fans in the chat that would want him back. And I know it's a numbers game. Mm-hmm. They got a budget, and they're going to have to make it all work with these guys. I personally think Andrew Meadow, is a guy they should try to keep and bring back. Meadow and Keene and Carmichael all do, the three of those guys all do kind of the same thing, and not the same thing, but they're all just kind of similar.
Yep.
And that is part of the problem. So do all three of those guys come back? Is that a spot where you try to, do something different? I don't know. I would like to see all three of those guys come back. I think they all bring value, but Andrew Meadow, before we hear the Carmichael interview, again, 17 points. We'll look and wrap up some of the season stats here, but what did you make of Andrew Meadow's season and the interview there?
Yeah, I mean, interview-wise, I appreciate the honesty and the candor that, focused on the season. And the way a lot of these guys work now is, during the season, they actually get to focus on basketball, and they have an agent who's handling all the stuff. And for a guy like Andrew Meadow, it's probably a little bit of a non-committal answer because, one, you don't know if the staff wants you back. There's some uncertainty there. And then two, you don't know what's out there for you. Maybe your agent gives you a call tomorrow and says, hey, we've got Washington with $1 million. And it's like, okay, well, that's a no-brainer for me, right? Mm-hmm. So I appreciate the honesty because that's just the era that we're in. These guys are free agents every summer. And while he said, there's a lot of good pieces, excited for the future, he also acknowledged, I'm focused on the season. I don't know what's next. Andrew Meadow, I think some people say he regressed, and I think Andrew Meadow he fills a role. He's a 3-point shooter. He can attack closeouts. He's a play finisher, not a play driver. Mm-hmm. I think where Andrew Meadow needs to improve the most is on the defensive end. I thought most of this season he's had struggles, and I thought tonight really struggled when he got switched on to some of San Jose State's guards. Just had a really tough time staying in front of them. And I think that's where when you have the conversation of Peanut and Keene and Meadow, it's you've got a lot of guys who do not have quick feet who are getting beat off the dribble by more athletic guards and more athletic wings. And from just a roster building standpoint, it's hard to have all three of those guys on the floor. When those three are on the floor together, Boise State's defense has struggled this year. So maybe they bring them all back and they find the right roles for them. Maybe they're confident they can get development from Pearson Carmichael or from Andrew Meadow. But, on the season, I thought Meadow had a solid year. He played his role. Yeah. I think Meadow kind of is what he is. And if he's willing to come back at a price point that matches that role, I think you'd be happy to have him back. And if he thinks he can have a bigger role somewhere else or make more money somewhere else, that's a decision for Leon Rice at that point.
Well, I certainly think he could make more money somewhere else just because of the crazy prices out there. Yeah. I mean, he's a back-to-back double-digit scorer in the Mountain West. I certainly think if it was all about the payday, somebody would pay him even to be a 7th or 8th man, somewhere a little more money. Now, I will say played pretty much the same amount of minutes, 29 minutes a game. The overall numbers, and I don't know if this is updated. I don't think this is updated because it says 31 games, so I don't think this is updated unless he miss one. I forget. I think he played, but he was sick in a game. But anyway, 2 years ago, 12.6 points per game. Last year, this year, 11.9. So the scoring overall went down just a little, but that's primarily 100% his struggles at the free throw line. Mm-hmm. He only shot 65% from the free throw line after going 84% last year. His field goal percentage went up from 45.8% to 51%. His 3-point percentage went up. All 3 years, his three-point percentage has gone up from 32.7. Last year he was 35.2, and this year over 38% from three-point range. I thought he got better at driving to the basket this year, finishing with some contact. The one thing I would just say is his defense. He's just not the greatest defender. But I certainly think if the price is right, he's a guy you want back. I like Andrew Meadow. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a good player. I think he could have, he'd be a nice bookend to his career to come back for that fourth season. We're going to have to see what he is looking for. Is it money? Because if it's playing time or opportunity, he's certainly not going to have many better spots than here.
Right.
But if it is an issue, you never know if it's coaching staff issue or teammates or whatever. Who knows? We could have 7 guys announced are transferring in the next couple of days. We could have 1 guy. I mean, we don't know. And I know they have a budget, they have a roster to put together. But to me, overall, I thought he got better in every way except the free throws.
Yep.
The free throws were the one area, and his total points did come down a little bit. I'd have to look a little closer at like his volume and how many shots a game he took this year compared to last year. But he certainly went up in terms of his shooting percentage, three-point percentage. I think if he came back, he could be one of the elite shooters. We saw it tonight, the aggressiveness, some of the step-back threes.
Yes.
But overall, I just, I think he's a solid player, and I maybe they're lighting me up in the chat for it, but I would want Andrew Meadow back on the team next year.
Yeah, you mentioned it. I think where he's probably improved the most is his ability to shoot off the dribble. Last season, his sophomore year, he was kind of just a catch and shoot guy. And anytime he was asked to come off a screen, like he was not efficient on those shots.
Mm-hmm.
Saw it tonight, hit 2 threes off the dribble, where he's showing real improvement in his game. But again, if the price is right, I think you can get him back. Now, I don't know what their budget is. I don't know the particulars of how much guys are making. But if Andrew Meadow says, I want to be the highest or second highest paid player on the team,
mm-hmm.
I don't think that he's at that level offensively to be the second best player on a tournament team. But if he's willing to come back at a price point where he's the 4th highest paid, the 5th highest paid player, like I think he can fill that role for Boise State.
Yeah. So. Pearson Carmichael, another guy, only had 5 points tonight, was dealing with some foul trouble, had 4 fouls, only played 11 minutes. Another guy that, came into the season with a lot of excitement, hope about him, and with the way he finished last year, burning his red shirt, and obviously his outside shooting ability, but really, did not shoot the ball nearly as well as I think he would admit that he could. Let's hear from let's hear from Pearson Carmichael, and then we'll talk about his future here. Pearson Carmichael one-on-one with Bronco Nation News.
I mean, it's basketball. Stuff happens. I think we're all sad and disappointed, but we had a heck of a season, so I'm kind of speechless right now.
They got kind of hot and seemed like they got some confidence, some swagger, and it was kind of hard to slow them down. What did you kind of see as the difference tonight?
I think they just wanted more. I'm not really sure. They was hooping, and they had their game today. We were on ours, and obviously the outcome was that, and they just played better basketball.
You guys are coming in with so much momentum, 5 in a row. There was so much hope. Just to see it come kind of crashing down like this in one game, and just like that, the season's over. I know you said you're at a loss of words, but how disappointing and frustrating is the way it ended?
I'm super disappointed. I don't want the season to be over this early in March. I don't really know what to say. None of us definitely thought that was happening. I don't think anyone in the world thought that was happening. Basketball's March. That's why I call it March Madness for a reason. But I love these guys. I love this team. I love the coaches. So I'm just super proud of us.
It was 5 of 23 from 3 tonight too. Just a lot of them seemed wide open. It was just sometimes you don't hit the shots and they hit the shots, or it was just one of those nights. Or
they had their offense rolling. We obviously, I don't think we couldn't really find a way to get a stop, and they just kept the momentum on their side. We could never really flip it to ours.
How do you look at the season? And it started off rough and it was kind of an up and down season, and it ended this way. How do you look at kind of just the season as a whole, unfortunately?
I'm proud of the season. Me personally, I'm proud of the way I played and the way I competed. And then as a team, obviously we started off with one of the worst losses in college basketball. We just kept fighting every day in practice and in film and every day. Our team I love these guys. Our bond will never be broken. But just the way that we fought from day one is super incredible. I just love them.
How do you look at kind of what's next for you? Do you expect to be back next year?
That's my goal, is to be back. I love Bronco Nation. I don't really have any goal of leaving here. So, kind of just want to take a couple weeks off of basketball and kind of just push all this in the past, but definitely looking forward for next year.
On paper with Drew and if you and Andrew, depending, and if you guys can add some guys, do you feel like you guys are close?
I mean, yeah. I mean, like I said, this team's super close, and I think we can get a good group of guys back for sure. And I hope that's the case.
All right. Well, he says that's the plan, and again, kind of put him in a tough spot there. What you never know what's going to happen with the portal and all that. But I mean, I think it's a fair question, just given the current state of college basketball. Kind of, do you have to entertain any kind of thoughts? Or are you planning to come back? I think that's a fair question, but I do acknowledge that it's in some ways not fair, just because it is what's he supposed to say? If he guarantees he's coming back and then he leaves because he gets an offer or something, then it's like, okay, he lied or whatever. And it's like, but he said that's the plan. He was a little more, I would say, forthcoming about it than Meadow was. And again, I think Carmichael was a guy that coming into the season with the way he finished last season, so many high hopes, expectations for him with his size, the way he can shoot the basketball. But his 3-point percentage, only 31 point, I guess went down this year. That was 2 years ago, 31.6, and actually goes down to 30.7% this year, 35 of 114. Mm-hmm. And if you told me that Pearson Carmichael is going to shoot less than 31% from three this year, I just would have said that I didn't believe you. And I mean, I know we're 2 years in here, but I believe he's a better 3-point shooter than 31.1% for his career. And so if Boise, if you're a fan, whatever, maybe you say no thanks. We'll spend that money elsewhere. But for me, that size, and I've seen him shoot the ball. He's a guy that, again, I think if he wants to come back and it makes sense price-wise, I think you probably take him back. Again, I want Keene back as well. I think Keene, I know he doesn't score, but I still think he does enough, and he's a locker room guy, and I do want Keene back. But I don't know if all three of these guys coming back makes the most sense. Mm-hmm. So if Keene is back and Meadow's back, is Carmichael the one spot where maybe you just they're redundant and that's the one spot? I don't know. I like Carmichael. I like his family. He's a nice guy. We always see him on the road. Like, I think he's a better player than he showed this season. I thought there was a lot of excitement last year with what he did early, coming in, 12 starts there at the end of the season. He does up his point production, about a point per game. The minutes went up a little bit, but it still played, 20 minutes a game. I think off the bench, 20 minutes a game, he's a serviceable guy if the price is right. I would buy low on him. I think he is better than he's shown. I think if you can get him to not demand a ton of money, you hope you can get an increased year out of Pearson Carmichael. You know him. Again, they're going to have some decisions to make. Yeah,
absolutely.
And that could be one spot where, just being honest, I could see a change there. But I personally hope he comes back also.
Yeah, Peanut Carmichael's an interesting guy when you're looking at the analysis of it. Because you brought up R.J. Keene. I don't think many fans would recognize this unless they've looked at the stats. R.J. Keene's a better 3-point shooter this year than Pearson Carmichael.
And nobody ever would have thought that.
Nobody would have. I mean, R.J. shot, 17% from three last year or some ridiculous number. And, Pearson comes in and hits 6 threes, I think it was, against New Mexico. And, you would not expect that. Now, the thing with Pearson Carmichael is you watch him on the floor and it's clear that the talent's there and that he has the upside to be like a number one option. That's where, if you want to make the case for if the decision became just Carmichael or Meadow, I think Carmichael has the better upside. I think Carmichael can be an all Mountain West caliber player, whereas I think Meadow's probably a little closer to just is what he is. Mm-hmm. I think the converse side of that is that Meadow's already a proven 3-point shooter. He's already proven somebody who can be a play finisher for you. And Carmichael's not that yet. He's not an efficient enough 3-point shooter for the roles that he fills. He doesn't create his own offense.
If you have to choose Meadow, I mean, I hate to say that, but if it is one or the other, you've seen more, at least. You've seen more production from Meadow.
Yeah, and that's where it's, do you bet on upside and think you can develop Carmichael, but you've seen more from Meadow so far, and that's with Carmichael, excuse me. I think you just need to be something. Either be the 38% 3-point shooter or add some playmaking to your game where you're making teammates better, or defensively add a defensive component where I think he has a little bit more upside as a defensive player. He really struggled this year on the defensive end of the floor, not just with his foot speed and lateral quickness, but a lot of times where it seems like Peanut's getting beat on back cuts that are caught. There were multiple times tonight where it's like Pearson Carmichael gets beat off the dribble to blow by in an easy bucket because of it.
Yeah.
That's where I think it's hard to say we're going to keep Meadow and Pearson Carmichael. You got two guys who, in my opinion, and some of the numbers back it up, are below average defenders, and you've got a good shooter and I guess becoming a good shooter in Pearson Carmichael. It's I don't know. This is why I don't get paid to make these big roster decisions. Leon Rice and his staff is going to have to do it, but it's going to be an interesting offseason. Like, can they keep both of those guys, and do they want to keep both of those guys? And I think you could justify keeping either. You could justify keeping both, but we'll see which route they go with it.
I do think that they need to get some on-ball defenders. I mean, that's one area. You look at the Ken Pom dropped all the way to number 72 with the loss, and you have to go all the way back to 2020, and that was the year right before COVID. They went 20-12. I think they played and they lost in the second round of the Mountain West tournament, did not play in the postseason. But you got to go back to 2020, 6 years, to find a defense that ranked this low for Boise State at Ken Pom. They were number 81 in 2020. Last year they were 70. Last year they were 70, and it wasn't good, and they said it's got to be better. And it ends up being worse. 72nd. For all the talk that Tim Duryea, all the criticism Tim Duryea got for the offense this year, the offense finishes the season ranked higher than the defense at Ken Pom. The offense 67th, the defense 72nd, and I think a lot of that is
the rebounding.
The rebounding. Well, the rebounding, I mean, for the most part, obviously was good on defense. They finished, third in the country in defensive rebounding. But just the on-ball defenders and giving up those big games to the guards, not being able to contain. I mean, how many 30-point games did they give up this year? I mean, Leland Walker had 30 for Wyoming one game. Garland had some big numbers. Corey Camper had 30. For Nevada. Gibbs Lawhorn did his thing. I mean, they probably had 5 or 6 guys score 30 on them this year. And a lot of that is the on-ball, the one-on-one defenders. And I just don't think – I like Meadow as a defender, and Anders was okay, but I just didn't – when you're talking about Meadow and, Carmichael and some of these guys, their strength is not one-on-one defense. And so I don't know – I don't know what happens. Does a guy like Mike Burns – I don't expect there to be major changes to the coaching staff. I could be wrong. I'll put it this way. I don't think Leon Rice is going to ask either Tim Duryea or Mike Burns to step down or to leave. And I don't think he's going to fire him. I think he's very loyal to both those guys. And this is my personal opinion. Rip on me, whatever. My personal opinion is if Tim Duryea and Mike Burns both want to be back next season, both will be back next season. Now, one of them could want to change. One of them could retire. One of them could want to go somewhere else. I don't know. But folks just saying, we got to, Mike Burns, the defense was bad. You got to make a change. I don't think that's happening. I'm not going to say 100% both of them are back. Both of them are veteran coaches, been here a long time. Maybe they want to play more golf and take a year off or I don't know. But both of them, I believe if they want to come back, will be back. But with that said, the defense has to be better. And I think that starts with, because let's be honest, you're losing Dylan Andrews. I think NATO has some potential, and tell me if I'm wrong in the chat here, but I am not ready to turn the keys of the offense over in 30 minutes a game over to NATO. I think you've got to find another veteran.
A Colby Garland, right? Like a
Colby Garland. I mean, I don't know. It looked like, Leon Rice may have taken an extra second or two and talked to him in the handshake line. Kind of kidding, kind of not. But, I mean, Colby Garland would be a great type fit for this team. I don't know if he's going to end up going into the portal, I would assume. Don't know what his interest will be, Power 4, or how much money he would take. But it worked with Alvaro Cardenas, and they're different types of players. But that mid-range jumper and some of the things Garland did, and if Garland was one of your, if he was your third or fourth option, your third or fourth best player and not the guy that he has to be for San Jose State, I mean, he could be a really good player on a good team. He already is a good player. I'm just saying he'd be a fit there. I don't know defensive-wise. I mean, I watched him a little. He's obviously quick, but I'd be lying if I said I knew about Garland in terms of, his how he is overall as a defensive player. But I want crack if I think Boise can afford Garland. Well, they paid $800,000 to Dylan Andrews this year.
Yeah,
is Colby Garland going to get $1 million plus?
He might,
maybe. But I'm just saying, he's a guard from San Jose State,
right? And
probably got $20,000 this year. So I mean, if he goes to a winning situation, a good spot, if Cardenas puts in a good word, I'm kind of kidding on the $20,000, but I guarantee I don't think he made 6 figures. No, at San Jose State. I mean, Boise State could offer him a lot more money than he made this year, and it'd be a good situation. I don't know what his. My understanding was $800,000 is the range that Dylan Andrews got. And if that's the case, telling me they can't afford somebody, I don't think it just depends who it is.
Yeah.
But I would think Colby Garland would be a nice fit.
Talking to someone who I trust their stance on it, they said that the high end guys, they kind of have two guys at San Jose are like touching six figures.
Okay.
So you're getting a raise regardless. And I don't know, maybe he loves Tim Miles, loves San Jose, is willing to come back at that number. But maybe Boise State's willing to throw out a big number for a guy like him. And maybe there is a power forward gig that's willing to throw out 1+. Like I don't think it's going to be a Houston or a Duke, but I think there will be interest.
I do want to say something on Dylan Andrews. He's getting a lot of crushed in the chat here. Dylan Andrews was very sick the last couple of days. He played in the game, obviously, and started. But if you watch the layup line, he did not look right. There was one point when they came back out before the game, he didn't even come out. Mm-hmm. He was the last player to come out, and he came out several minutes after the rest of his teammates. I'm not making an excuse. He didn't play great. He tried to suck it up and play, and he didn't play great. But the last couple of days, whether it was food poisoning or some sort of illness, Dylan Andrews has been very sick the last couple of days, and my understanding hasn't been able to do much and was not 100% tonight in this game. Yeah. Not an excuse, not why they lost, but if you want to crap on a college athlete, at least have a little, at least want you to have a little bit more, a little context, a little perspective. He was,
and that's something you found out like before the game, after we did pregame show. It wasn't like we were hiding that. It's
just stop. See again, can't even mention it again. You don't have to like it. I'm just being honest, and I'm not making an excuse. He didn't play good. The team didn't play good. But when you rip on the kid and say money not worth it, no, didn't show up in crunch time, I just want you to at least know that he's been very sick the last couple of days and almost didn't play. I'm just putting the facts out there. You don't have to like it. That's fine. But again, he was not 100% in this game tonight.
Yeah, and there's criticisms of Dylan Andrews this year. I wrote about it in the article that I did to preview this game. First 17 games of the year, he's scoring 10 points per game on 30% shooting from the field. And over the last 14, when Boise State was playing like a top 25 offense per every available metric we have, Dylan Andrews was scoring 15 points per game on 48% shooting and became a very efficient scoring guard. And didn't play well tonight, and it really felt like the offense just kind of cratered without what he can bring as a shooter and a playmaker.
So, sorry.
No, just it's we learned about the sickness. I think it affected him.
Bad pizza, John Buchanan said.
But you need more help, right? Like I think part of the issue with this team is if you couldn't get a big night out of Dylan Andrews or Drew Fielder, the offense was just hapless. And even like Jaden Buchanan still at 28 points, but just no help outside of when Fielder and Andrew.
And I mean, maybe if he had Julian Bowie all year, he could have stretched the defense and hit some threes. I will say this about Drew Fielder. He declined the interview, which is his right. He was very open all season long, and they paraded him out there after a lot of tough losses. So I am not ripping on Drew Fielder. Sorry for not talking after the game. I fully expect Drew Fielder to be back next year. I don't think you come all the way back to Boise, do the thing, and then just leave right away. He's obviously frustrated, tough loss, but I still fully expect Drew Fielder to be back, and that's a nice place to start. Now, I will say Spencer Aarons, I hate to say he regressed because he just didn't play a lot, but there were flashes really early in the season where it was like Spencer Aarons, a guy you got to keep. He's the future. I'll have to look at the numbers, but I don't think he did much the second half of the season. I thought he regressed a little bit, and frankly, Meadow too. Hot start, but didn't really finish. I expect those guys to be back, but I think Meadow and Aarons both, in my opinion, looked better earlier in the season and maybe didn't finish with the momentum you'd like to see if you're going to make them a core player next season.
Yeah, I think you're spot on, and I think they probably just got thrusted into a little bit bigger roles as freshmen than they were probably ready for. And against lower level competition, Meadow looked really good, and Aarons was knocking down threes and looking like Larry Bird out there. But then you get into Mountain West play, and all of a sudden when it's not, hey, we have a big lead and you have a chance to make some mistakes. A guy like Spencer Aarons is getting 6 minutes tonight, and he gets pulled because he has a bad foul and he has a bad turnover. And in a game where all of a sudden it's, things are getting tight, you got to tighten the rotation. He's on the wrong side of it. But we saw that with Andrew Meadow. Andrew Meadow, his freshman year was getting, I think, 6 or 7 minutes a game, somewhere in that ballpark. And then his second year really broke out because he had adjusted to the speed, had an off season where he knew what to work on. And that's where, yes, Nato and Aarons this year did not look like Tyson Degenhart did as a freshman. But Boise State has never been a go get the great recruit who comes in as a true freshman and plays at a high level. It's let's get the guy who has the tools and develop him. Nato's an incredible athlete. I don't know if you saw this. He came about an inch away from throwing down like a 540 dunk in the layup lines at the start of the game.
Didn't see that one, no.
Like it bounced off the back of the rim.
I think he's got potential. I would like to see him come back. He could have a big offseason in development. That could be big for him. I just don't think you can give him the starting point guard. So back to my original point, whether it's Kobe Garland or somebody, I do think you need to bring in a veteran point guard, a veteran point guard that can be ready to play 30 minutes a game for you. I think you need another scoring guard, whether it's a shooter, someone that we mentioned in the defense. You need an on-ball defender, another guard type that you can give significant minutes to. And then probably another backup big, in terms of you lose Dom Perlin. I mean, you have Aarons, but that's not his position. I'm trying to think of who they have signed, but I mean, they're going to have to get 3, 4, 5 guys. Someone said, thanks for stealing what I said an hour ago. Incredible. An hour ago, I wasn't watching the chat because I was doing interviews in the locker room. So I apologize, but I didn't see whatever you said. But
I agree with your point, though. Nato, to me, is not – you don't go into the season banking on him being a point guard. To me, he's an off-ball guard right now. And I think one of the real issues that this team had was they didn't have a backup point guard. When Dylan Andrews didn't have it, or when he was coming off the floor, they kind of needed Nato to run the offense, and he just wasn't at that point where he's ready to do that yet. Now, in 2 years when he's a junior, I think he can get there. I'm not going to bank on it over the offseason. I think I'm with you. I think they got to bring in a transfer point guard or a transfer point guard. I don't think you bank on a freshman either. And I think they need a backup point guard as well. I don't think that's going to be Nato next year. I don't think that's Julian Bowie. He can do a little bit of that, but I've always liked Bowie at his best when he's off guard and can just be a shooter. So you probably need 2 point guards. I know that there's the kid from New Mexico that they brought in on a visit over senior day.
He's got some big visits, and that's going to be a tough one.
But it's somewhat. I mean, he took the visit, so maybe they're.
But isn't
good
he?
there.
Is he a senior this year, or is he?
I believe he's
okay.
I believe he's.
I thought he might be for the next class.
He may be.
Maybe not.
Don't quote me on that. But yeah, it's going to need some change this offseason, and it's kind of the
someone's bringing up Ethan Lathan. Wouldn't he be the backup center next year? No disrespect to Ethan Lathan, but if he got 30 seconds in like 10 games this year, I'm not sure they think he's ready for 15 minutes a game next year.
Yeah,
I could be wrong. I mean, you watch him in the layup line, you watch him shoot, like he's got the size. If he could be that guy, great. If he can give you 15 minutes, that'd be great. But the fact that he couldn't even see the floor this year, I'm not sure that says a lot about his future here. I would guess Ethan Lathan is not on the roster next year, just to be honest. He seems like a transfer to play somewhere else candidate, to be honest, but I could be wrong.
Well, and maybe it's just a tough conversation thing. I think it was RJ Keene who said, had a really tough conversation with Leon where he's like, hey, you either have to get much better this offseason or you're just never going to play here. And we can use we can use that roster spot. And, to RJ's credit, I believe it was RJ improved and earned a role. Maybe Lathan, they feel like he's on the cusp of it. But yeah, you're right. I think they need a backup big. Maybe they feel Spencer Aarons with an offseason of the weight room can give you some backup big minutes. But
yeah,
that's outside of Drew Fielder. To me, this is a wide open roster where if they choose to bring back Meadow or
I was going to say, how many starters do you think are on the roster right now for next season? What would you put the over under at?
I think over under
2.5.
Over under, I think you'd put it. I think you'd probably.
I mean, you lose Andrews, so you're definitely down to 4 as possible. And you lose, so I guess it's only 3 possible in terms of. But I'm also saying some bench guys that will become starters next year.
I would say 3.5 because. I think Leon learned a lot from 2 years ago when they brought in, I think it was 9 newcomers, and it just took the team so long to gel. I think he probably has a little bit of an understanding of almost what he did this year, right? Pick your pieces, get intentional pieces with Dylan Andrews and Drew Fielder that fill roles. I'd say 3.5 is probably my number, but But I don't know. Actually, as I'm saying that, what are the odds that 4 starters are on this team from next year?
I don't think so.
I think you're right. I know 2.5. I talked myself out.
They
of
need
it.
to find. They need another Javen Buchanan type that is a starter and more of a forward type. I mean, Drew Fielder obviously is your center, but they need some rim protection as well. I mean, there's a long list of. We're going to have plenty of time to really dive into this, but they could use another rim protector type, another big guy that's long, on the interior. I mean, if Drew Fielder could be your 4 and not your 5, so to speak. I mean, if you had another guy that you could just plant down there that's more of an inside-only guy, more of a guy that can not necessarily block shots, but alter shots or scare teams. We talk about these guards driving into the rim. A lot of the time they'd get into the lane and there was no real protection there once they blew by the first guy. So if they could get some rim protection, bring Milad and Narmouche back next year. Yeah.
I think that works.
Yeah. I don't necessarily mean starters back. I just mean how many starters next season are on the roster right now.
Yes.
Like, Spencer Aarons didn't start this year. He could theoretically be a starter next year. I think Drew Fielder's back. I'm going to say Andrew Meadow's back. I think Andrew Meadow probably. I know he didn't really say it in that interview there, but I just think that they can make that work, and I still think he's a very productive piece. And I know Meadow and Keene and Carmichael, all those guys are all pretty close, so maybe they all come back or they all leave. I don't know. I have a hard time thinking R.J. Keene playing 5 years here and has a 6th year left would go somewhere else for that. Maybe he wants to go back closer to home. Maybe, but I mean, he was primarily a starter here and still got decent minutes. I mean, maybe he goes to Rice and plays 30 minutes a game as last year and is more of a focal point offensively. I don't know. But I mean, Keene, I think their family bought a house in Boise. Like, I don't think that's something they're just ready to hurry out. So I really do feel pretty good about Keene coming back too. Now you can say, hey, he can come back, but he, still find someone better than him and play more minutes. I mean, there's lots of ways you can look at it, but I think Keene is back. Feel pretty good. I don't know about Carmichael. He's a little bit of a wild card to me.
I would say between Carmichael and Meadow, my take is I think one of them's gone.
Okay. I think that's
and I don't know which, but my take is I think they probably keep one and let the other one walk and try to fill that role with someone else.
Yeah.
Which there was a lot of bomb talks. Like,
I'm not saying this because I know where he's going with this. I don't know if you saw the did you see the reporter?
I did, yes.
There was a reporter, they said,
reporter.
What do you make of the LSU right tackle? And this was the gentleman's name. I'm not reading that out loud. You're not getting me to do it, but I chuckled because they said that about was it Houston Chronicle or somebody? Would he be a good fit for the Texans? And he said, yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, great.
And he read it, and I just kind of like laughed and thought that was pretty funny. Either way, man, going to be a very interesting next month. The portal, somebody asked when it officially opens, is after the Final Four. I think it's like the day after the national championship or something. But as you know, people can still announce they're going in early.
Right.
They just can't officially show up until the season's over. But they're going to have to, restock this roster a little bit. As long as they can keep Drew Fielder happy and he comes back, that's a very nice place to start.
Yep.
He was still a little too inconsistent at times this year, but as the season went on, became a pretty consistent force. I don't know what happened tonight. Only had 12 points in 29 minutes, 6 rebounds, was 1 of 3 from 3. 7 shots for Drew Fielder, just not enough in a game like this, especially when I thought they were really going to try to dominate on the interior tonight. But as long as he comes back, you anchored about him. And I'm going to say this about Javen Buchanan, man. What a joy it was to watch him the last 2 years. Got a chance to shake his hand over there and tell him, thanks for the last 2 years. And you bring in an NAIA kid, you're not sure what you're getting. But in terms of missing in the portal, hitting in the portal, I mean, they hit on Javen Buchanan, a 2-year starter, an all Mountain West type player, 28 points tonight, left it all out there, 14 of 16 from the free throw line, 7 of 18. I mean, he took over and frankly did a lot of what you wanted to see Drew Fielder do tonight. But I mean, Javen Buchanan just did everything he could. The only thing he just looked like he got a little tired there at the end and was 0-5 from 3, missed a couple open threes, but 28 points for Javen Buchanan. Great 2-year career here at Boise State. Was another guy that became a leader in terms of talking a lot in the media and stuff like that. So I'm gonna miss Javen Buchanan, man. He was a joy to cover. a joy to get to know on a personal level, and had a great 2 years here. And he's going to be tough for them to replace.
One of my favorite Broncos since I've become a viewer and a fan, and now in media of Boise State. I mean, on the court, we never had to worry about effort with him. Even last year, fighting through hip and back injuries to gut out the season. Had some of the all-time moments with Boise State. I mean, went for, 38 against Nevada last year in a massive win in Reno. But then you said it, like, off the court, you get to know some of these guys, and you only know, face value. Maybe some guys put on a good face, but, Jaden was always a pleasure to be around. His family is always supporting Bronco Nation News in the chat.
Jaden Mr. Buchanan's in the chat. Hopefully they'll stick around.
Well, and who knows? There is a lawsuit right now for a former NAIA player petitioning to get additional eligibility, trying to do kind of the Pavia ruling 2.0. And
and he did say you'd have to think about it if that came through, but I don't think that's at all something right now that's been on his mind.
It's not there yet. It's not like we're on the precipice of it. It's probably something that'll break in the next 2 months. But who knows if that happens? Like, you talk about they need a Javen Buchanan type. How about you just bring back Javen Buchanan? And I think Bronco Nation would be excited about it. I think that's a no-brainer for the coaching staff. If you can keep Javen Buchanan, and even if it's at the cost of losing a Meadow or Carmichael, I think you take that deal. But yeah, Javen Buchanan, absolute pleasure. Dylan Andrews his last game as a Bronco, barring some absurd injunction. You never know. We should probably stop saying that, because in the modern college basketball landscape, you just throw in a lawsuit and get another year of eligibility. But definitely going to be one of the more interesting, legacies as a Bronco, because some of the highs were really, really high. Went for 40 points at the pit in a huge win there. But then also, like, the starting point guard who has, I think, 1 assist against Hawaii Pacific, and came in as a former starter at UCLA and kind of had underwhelming moments. I was a Dylan Andrews fan. It seemed like a great kid off the court, and when things went well, it was really, really good. But 2 seniors there that you're going to have to replace, and those are the 2 guys I think you just have to have one-to-one replacements for. Like, you need a new point guard, and you need someone who can be that starting 3-4 for you. And maybe it's just Pearson Carmichael developing. Maybe it's bringing in someone through the portal. Maybe it is Bon Blom taking a leap. But definitely, and we'll have plenty of off-season articles to discuss all this. But
crazy season. Starts with a loss to a Division II team. They go to Maui. They hang tough against USC and lose that one, then lose to NC State, but had the lead in the second half of both of those games. Conference play start, then you bounce back, you beat Butler. I know that win doesn't look quite as great anymore, but a win over St. Mary's was a nice win. You go start conference play, you lose to Nevada on the road before Christmas, come back, beat New Mexico, and you kind of right the ship a little bit. And then that triple overtime game, the way that went down, that 4-game kind of tough losing streak in there. Obviously getting swept by Utah State, swept by Grand Canyon. The ugly loss to Utah State and Logan, then you fight back, you win the 5 in a row, you're feeling good, and then all comes kind of crashing down again. But it was as up and down of a season as I can remember in my 13 years covering the team. And again, started with, probably the worst loss in program history, a regular season loss to a Division II team. You lose to Hawaii Pacific, horrific, ugly, embarrassing loss, no way around it, and it ends with a horrific, ugly, borderline embarrassing loss to San Jose State. So you bookended it. When you lost to Hawaii Pacific, if you were going to just think ahead to 6 months later how the season was going to end, it almost is kind of a fitting loss, but that still makes it doesn't make it any less easy to take for fans, doesn't make it any less easy for us to understand how it happened as media members. But the season as a whole, man, as we kind of start to wrap this thing up, and we're going to have plenty of coverage online, a ton of stuff to get to, but I mentioned just the way it started. Hawaii Pacific had some nice wins, some tough losses, just overall 20-12. Why did it just not click this year? Why did this team not, have the season a lot thought? And like I said, we probably should have more seen this coming. I was wrong about this team. I'll admit it. I thought this team was going to be better.
I was too. I said this would be the team that wins an NCAA tournament game.
And I feel like we've been saying that for every year, and I get it. But I don't remember if I ever went that far. But I know nobody was really calling this the dream team or anything, or the best team in program history, or the super team, whatever Leon called it a couple years ago. I never said that. I'm not saying you were crazy in what you said, but I really thought this team was going to be a team that could get them back to the tournament. And that was before I even knew what to expect from a Drew Fielder. Drew Fielder outperformed my expectations. He averaged 7-5 at Georgetown or wherever. I mean, he had a heck of a year. Some other guys regressed. But I'll admit it, I was wrong. I thought this team was going to be better. They weren't. And we're going to have all offseason to really dissect it. But where did this season go south for you?
I think it started with a lack of identity. If you go look at those first 17 games, this team didn't know what they wanted to be. They were winning games with good defense and rebounding, and sometimes they're taking a lot of threes, and sometimes they're kind of a Drew Fielder focused offense. And it wasn't until the 17-game mark they beat Colorado State where they figured out, okay, this is an offensive forward team where guys, Dylan Andrews, James Buchanan, Drew Fielder are going to get their own shots. So I think it took this team way too long to figure out their identity. And then even once they did, it was just inconsistencies. And the first half tonight was inconsistent defensive effort. Just time and time again, San Jose State getting easy, wide open looks just because guys aren't making the right rotations. Guys are late on a closeout. Guys are, just getting beat off the dribble because they've got bad eyes or slow feet. And it's the inconsistent effort that leads to an inconsistent shooting performance. And it's just an inconsistent season. Certain guys, you never knew what they were going to get night to night. They come out one game and they give you really nice minutes off the bench, and the next they're 0 for 4. And I think what we've seen in the post Tyson Degenhardt era was how desperately I think we took for granted the consistency of Tyson Degenhardt. You knew every game you were getting at least 15 points and 6 rebounds off of, that's a bad night for Tyson Degenhardt. And this team really could have used a Tyson Degenhardt. And they had that a little with Javen Buchanan, but they really could have used another guy who you just knew game in and game out exactly what you're going to get from him.
Yeah.
And they got to try to find a way to get that in the offseason, which like we said it already, but if you can keep Drew Fielder, like you go into game 1 against whoever your D2 school is to open the season, Hawaii Pacific or whoever, hey, if nothing's working, if things aren't happening, we can get Drew Fielder the ball and, he can try to get us 25.
No, they got some decisions to make, and we'll see what the coaching staff looks like. We'll see what the roster looks like, and that'll start to take shape. Paulie Pepperoni, I hope you have a great offseason, man. I'm going to miss you. I really am. You're not that funny. I hope you I don't know if you're trying to be funny or what. It's just kind of, you just clog up the chat a little bit. So he says BNN's in trouble. So I guess it was a rough year for us. But just either get funnier or change your tune or just leave, man. You're not funny, and it just kind of clogs up the chat. We got AP finally to leave. That Vlad dude, finally kind of left us. And so I don't have a problem with people being negative or whatever else. Like, feel free to bring whatever you want, but at least have a point and a pulse, not just say the same stuff every time. It just gets kind of old. But we love everybody, man. And it's been a fun year. It's been a long year. The negativity is just weird, man. There's people like I said, that just root for Boise State to lose, and then want to tweet at me like I'm like, oh man, haha, they lost, gotcha. It's like, whatever. I get it, man. I get it. I went to Kansas, man. My alma mater plays tomorrow night in the Big 12 tournament. Like, does it suck for business when they lose? Like, yeah, it would help if they would win, certainly. But I'm going to go on vacation with my family and have a good couple of days and worry about next year when I get back and what the roster is going to look like. Like, I'm not, going back to the hotel crying tonight or whatever. Like, it's just not, someone said I bring it on myself. That's fine. I mean, yeah, I think at times some comments are unfair and also just crazy about this team. And yeah, can you say, oh, they were right. They were right all along. Like, I guess you guys were right. Like, this team wasn't very good, didn't end up being very good. Like, won 20 games and all that, but didn't do anything they wanted to do. So, yeah, I guess you could say that I was wrong on some of that because I did think this team was going to be better. So folks want to take their victory lap and everything, like, go ahead. I thought this team would be better. They weren't. And I was, wrong about that, but I don't, like I said, it doesn't matter to me, man. Like, I'm going to be fine.
Well, and here's what I'll say is like a lot of the negativity. I mean, you reeled off 3 people. It's a lot of times it's the same 5 people, and
Yeah.
they're trolling. They think it's fun, and credit to them.
And I bring it on a little bit. I do do some of the LOLs and some of the retweets and stuff, and I save some bookmark stuff. So I get it. I bring it on a little bit because I think Twitter's supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
So I have no problem taking it back. Like I'm admitting, I thought this team would be better. I was waiting all along for them to do something and win the tournament or whatever, so I could get folks back, and I didn't. So I like being a troll. I do like having fun with it. I laugh a lot of times, like when I'm tweeting stuff, because I think I just like to be funny on there. So I do bring it on a little bit, so I can take it. I have no problem with it. I just think it's kind of funny how many people rush to Twitter and rush to this chat just to poke me after they lose and stuff. It's like, if it makes you feel better, I guess go for it. It doesn't. It is what it is.
The thing that's crazy to me is that it's Boise State fans. I would get it if it's Utah. When Utah State fans came at you after Boise has to be too. I kind of got that. I'm like, you know what? BJ said something about your school, but it's Boise State fans who are almost reveling and excited to victory lap,
prove me wrong and take the victory lap.
To victory lap on their own defeat.
Yeah.
Which I get it. I love a good victory lap. I'm there with you, but I'm never going to be eager to victory lap on Boise State getting beat. When I said that Boise State, football was going to lose to Washington because I didn't trust Maddox Madsen in Big Ten game. I wasn't on Twitter victory lapping Boise State lost. It's no, I'd rather Boise State have won.
Like I said, it doesn't bother. I deserve it probably because I did. Like I said, I was more positive at times than others, so I'm sure I deserve it. And I can certainly take it. I can dish it. I can take it. Bring it on. I was wrong. I said they're going to have a better season. They didn't. I just find it kind of odd how many people do revel and enjoy that part of it. But yeah, like I said, maybe I had it coming. I deserved it. That's fine because I thought they'd be better. I do enjoy having fun on social media. So, yeah, bring it back. I was wrong. I thought this team would be better this year. They weren't. It was a really bad season. I wouldn't even say that. It was they won 20 games. It was a bad year based on expectations. You're picked 3rd. You finished 6th or 7th. It was, where'd they finish? 6th. Finished 6th. And, had 2 of the worst losses in the Leon Rice era in the same season. We didn't even mention the 2 blowout losses at home. That were the two worst home losses in the Leon Rice era. They had 2 of them in back-to-back games. The number 2 and then the worst loss in the Leon Rice era at home where the Utah State fans took over the arena and had their picture in the student section after the game. There's so many layers to this season. It was not a good season. I don't think that means you fire the coach and blow the whole thing up. But there's probably going to need to be some changes that are made. And but I will, like I said, flat out bring it on. I was wrong, man. Bring it on. That's fine. Like I said, that's fine. If it makes you feel better too, great, go for it.
Now you're literally asking for it.
Have your. I mean, like I said, I deserve it. I thought they'd be better this year. They didn't have a good year, and I do have fun on social media sometimes with folks, so I probably deserve it. And so all the comments and things that I'm seeing in the chat, that's great. And you guys were right, and I was wrong, and I just kept waiting for them to get it going this season, and they just never did. They just never had that extended. They had the 5-game streak, and the Torvik numbers were what they were. They were 11-3 over a 2-month stretch. Bart Torvik Analytics said they were playing at the best level in the conference, and all we did was report that. So it's not oh, you're wrong. You said they were playing great. The numbers said they were playing great. So we're just kind of explaining the numbers, and they were playing pretty well for an extended stretch, but even with that, never fully got it going.
Yeah.
And I thought they'd play better in this tournament. They had won 5 in a row. They lose the game tonight. I didn't see this coming, man. I really didn't.
Nope.
15-point favorite. It's I hate to use the word embarrassing. These guys are trying out there. Embarrassing's a tough word, but in terms of just unacceptable type loss, when you're a 15-point favorite, it's a loss that really can't happen. At this point in the season, but been here before, bad losses in the conference tournament, unfortunately. And changes probably coming, but I would just say my final thoughts, tough year, started out rough, up and down, some nice moments, but overall just couldn't get going, couldn't get the consistency going. Not enough players played to the potential that I think Boise State expected or hoped them to play at this year. Too many guys either underachieved or maybe just didn't take this next step that you were expecting them to take. Clearly, the coaching wasn't great. I mean, I'm not defending the coaching staff. When you have your expectations, you're picked 3rd and you finish where you are, everybody deserves blame. and I'm sure Leon Rice will take that and start at the top and go down. And the offense wasn't good enough at times. The defense certainly wasn't good enough at times. Overall, just not good enough. And we'll see where they go from here. And not good enough at all, not even close. And frustrating year.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think what makes this season sting is it's the memorable moments or the losses. It's the loss to Hawaii Pacific. It's the loss to San Jose. It's the blowout losses to Utah State and Grand Canyon. And there just weren't marquee feel-good moments. Like the St. Mary's win is like, even in the win, it's like they almost blow it down the stretch. Like there wasn't that like 2 or 3 games that you could hold on to and be like, yeah, season didn't go how you wanted, but you had that moment. Just didn't turn out that way, and it's disappointing. I'll do an article in the next few days, kind of just on an autopsy of the season. My prediction for this team was that they're going to get to the round of 32. Why did that not happen? I'll dive into that a little bit, and disappointing season. There'll be lots of Leon Rice talk, and look, my stance on it is just like the buyout makes it a non-starter. You can believe that if they had the money that they should do it, but if they're going to scrounge up $5 million to fire the program's all-time winningest coach, like they're probably just going to put that $5 million towards the roster, right? Yep. So like to me, the fire Leon stuff, I get it. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's not going to happen. There's going to be a lot of talk about staff shakeup, and I think it's fair, especially with the way the defense came. Like Ken Palm had him 72nd, I think you said, something like that, and a lot of that's just because of how good the defensive rebounding numbers. The turnover percentage was, I believe, the worst of the Leon Rice era. The effective field goal percentage was, I believe, bottom 3 of the Leon Rice era. The defense is just in the more traditional defensive ways is not holding up, and it needs some change there. Whether it's just roster, coaching, scheme, and maybe a little all of the above. But incredibly inconsistent season. The lows were low, highs were relatively low as well, and it's not one that I don't think fans of Bronco Nation, fans of Boise State are going to be telling their kids about this season.
No. Hey, Signature Roofing online, mysignatureroofing.com. Check them out, mysignatureroofing.com, whether it's a re-roof, repair, an estimate, or an inspection. Check them out at mysignatureroofing.com. Element Fencing, you need a fence, deck, pergola, they got you covered. Elementfencing.com. We need a defensive player of the game tonight, Nathan. Element Fencing, defensive player of the game. Where are we going tonight?
When you have as bad of a defensive effort as
you can give it to somebody on the other team if you'd like to.
Well, okay,
3 steals for Kobe Garland tonight.
We'll give it to Javen Buchanan.
All right.
He had 9 defensive rebounds.
Well, we're going to give Javen Buchanan the player of the game, the Matt Boucher player of the game, 28 points. We can give them both, I guess.
Yeah. Can we give Colby Garland player of the game, or does Boucher want it to be a Boise State?
No, I mean tonight Colby Garland might deserve both. Defensive player of the game, He played pretty well.
Yep.
But we'll give it to we'll go Buchanan, I guess. But again, Element Fencing, Brady and Company, 25 plus years in the fencing company. They're ready to help you out. Elementfencing.com. Shop Ridley's.com. Ridley's Family Markets. Whether it's the hometown grocer, they just do a great job. Whether it's Cuna, Middleton, Star, they got you covered. Treasure Valley, Magic Valley, McCall. Ridley's Family Markets online, shopridleys.com. Rowpaint.com, you got that painting project. Now's the time. Interior, exterior painting, concrete coatings. They can help you out. Rowpaint.com. We appreciate them for their support. And if you need a new job, Transportation Compliance Service, get into the trucking industry with Transportation Compliance Service, transcomservice.com. Rest of the Mountain West Tournament, another night in the Mountain West, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Tom Moser will have you covered the next 3 nights. Another night in the Mountain West. Tom Moser, make sure you check him out. Watch the rest of his broadcasts here. Tom Moser, another night in the Mountain West. Hey, I know some of you guys don't like me. You think I'm too positive. You don't like the coverage, whatever, but you're still watching, and I appreciate that. Thank you for watching the shows all season long. Thank you for your dollars to support all of our sponsors. Thanks to all of your dollars for your subscriptions. We still have the 50% off at BroncoNationNews.com right now. So I know I sometimes rub folks the wrong way, and that's fine. But I really do truly appreciate each and every one of you for watching these shows, for commenting on these shows, and like I said, more importantly, for supporting our sponsors, whether it's going to Jacksons, whether it's going and getting Sun Cruisers, whether it's buying a new vehicle at Lithia Ford, ICCU, going to Taco Bell for a meal, all of our major sponsors, buying your gear at the Blue and Orange store, all of our great sponsors that we've told you about all season long. We appreciate all of our sponsors because we certainly couldn't do this without them, but we certainly couldn't do it without you guys. And so all season long, the ups, the downs, appreciate you guys for making this part of your daily experience to watch these shows after every game, pregame shows, postgame shows. It's fun to get to do what we do.
Yep.
I mean, it's to get to travel around to some of these places and see the pit and see Viejas Arena and go to the Maui Invitational and stuff. Like it's a cool deal. I'm not going to say it's not. Like I am away from my family a decent amount. Like it's long hours, but I'm not going to complain, man. It's a pretty cool deal to get to do what we do, and we get to do that because of you guys and because of your support of our sponsors, your support of our subscriptions, and helping make the whole thing work. So it's been a really fun year, even though it was an up and down year, but it was certainly quite the season. We had plenty to talk about, and I think Bronco Nation News missed 2 games this year. Didn't make it to the Fresno game because we did our broadcast, and didn't make it to the Butler game because that was the night after the Mountain West Championship game. But off the top of my head, I can't think of another game that BNN didn't make it to. We went to the Maui Invitational. Trying to think. Didn't go to Butler. The Nevada game right before Christmas. Didn't make it to that one. My brother-in-law was getting married. So 32 games, and I think we were at 29 of them this year. So that's pretty good. And again, so all of our road trips, all that stuff's not cheap. So we appreciate you for your support of the sponsors. Thank you for your subscriptions, and thank you for your comments. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for watching all year long. And thanks to you, Nathan, man. Fun year, first full year basketball season having you on board, and you did a heck of a job and got better as things went on. I think your hosting ability has gotten way better. I think you've done a great job with the writing and stuff, and looking forward to kind of seeing where this goes. We'll have plenty of coverage of the offseason roster. Spring football starts up here in about 2 weeks. We got Pro Day coming up. And here's one thing I want to see for Boise State basketball, kind of off topic as we wrap this up. I want the first game of next season to be a decent opponent. Start this thing off with a real first game. Don't ease into it with a Division II team or an easy win where it's all lost. Like, go get a non-conference series with Nevada and play your first game of the season against Nevada, or go play a decent team in the first game, get fans excited right from the start. They got to fill 16 non-conference games. I don't know what tournament they're going to be in. I don't know what the schedule is. We only know 1 or 2 games on the schedule, but let's start basketball wise with a big first game next season. If you can make it happen, go play in one of those neutral site games at the Pentagon or whatever in South Dakota or whatever. Come down here. Come play your first game in Vegas against somebody. Like I don't know what could happen, but
play UNLV.
I would like to see. I would like to see a bigger first game for basketball. A lot of changes coming. We'll see. But I really enjoyed the season. Really enjoyed providing the coverage to you guys. Nathan, great job, man. It was a heck of a year.
Thanks, BJ. Yeah, I'll give my one thing I want to see. Can Boise State just get off to a hot start? And I wrote about it like this.
They're always coming from behind early in the season.
There's always a clunker early in the year. Even in the 2022 year, they lose to Charlotte. I think it was Cal State Bakersfield. Like this year, it's Hawaii Pacific. Like even if you open up with all the quad 3, quad 4 games, like get off to a 6-0 start so that the fan base can be engaged right away. It's not just the after football season thing. But no, all that to say, I mean, despite the ups and downs, like, had a ton of fun getting to cover this team and getting to, provide content for you guys, and hopefully you enjoy what we put out. And, appreciate BJ, you let me be a part of this, because, without you, I'm sitting at home watching and tweeting just like all of these jabronis who are here in our
well,
chat,
you deserved
right?
it, man. Good people that do good, kind of like Tom Moser, like people that do good work and, deserve it. And you've done a great job. Tom's done a great job. I'm hoping to, in some capacity, keep Tom on. I got to figure all that out in the summer in terms of what that's going to look like with the Pac-12 and the Mountain West next year, but certainly expected and hoping that you're going to be back. Tough loss, almost a fitting loss for the way the season went. Tough season. We will have a show tomorrow. It's going to be a little earlier. We got to figure out flights and things to get out of here. So looking at 10-ish, maybe 10 o'clock, maybe 9:30. I got to talk to you and see what we can make work. But we will have a show tomorrow. That's Pacific time. So we will have a morning show tomorrow to kind of give, we'll sleep on it and then probably give most of the same thoughts, but we'll see. Apparently Johnny Ballgame is on the court celebrating with the Vandals. Did John Mallory storm the court?
I would hope so.
I mean, good for him. I'm going to check his Twitter account real quick and see if he did.
Yeah, I mean, shout out Idaho, by the way. Men's and women's both qualify in the Big Sky. For the men's, I think it's their first tournament appearance in 20-something years. I want to say like sometime in the since 1990. Was that it? Which would be a lot more than 20 years because we are getting old. But shout out to Idaho, man. They're finding a good fit for them in the Big Sky. That program, that department, it's not easy to drop down from FBS to FCS, but they're starting to see dividends. FCS playoff, make the NCAA tournament. So, good for Idaho. It's good for the state. It's going to get more exposure for the state. And, who knows? We're probably around the corner from, we got the exhibition Boise, Idaho game. We're probably around the corner from that becoming just a regular season game as they kind of reignite that, I don't know if you call it a rivalry. I know older fans will, but reignite that series. So anyways, good for Idaho, good win over Montana. And, looking forward to March Madness. We won't be covering Boise State, but still going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, somebody here, you're asking if you can get a Team Italy WBC championship slip if I send you the money. Oh, you're wanting me to bet on them to win the WBC. Email me, rains@bronconationnews.com. I don't know if do they have odds? I guess they do at Circle on that. I don't know. I never saw them, but before I leave town tomorrow, I can try to do that for you if you reach out and let me know what you want. But again, thanks to Nathan. Thanks to all of you guys. Thanks to Chris. I know he does mostly football coverage, but he's a big part of this as well. Chris Van Sickle, Mateo for doing all the graphics and things. Abe Jackson for doing all of his pregame, postgame stuff. So been a long season, but again, thanks to you guys. You made it possible. Please continue to support the sponsors. Please continue to read BroncoNationNews.com. Please continue to subscribe, become a paid member, and please continue to like and retweet all these videos and watch all of our daily shows. We appreciate it. It means a lot. And tough game, tough loss. Hope you guys can get through it. And it'll be a interesting offseason, and we'll be here to cover it every step of the way at Bronco Nation News and BroncoNationNews.com. Don't know the exact time again for tomorrow morning's show, but I would like to do at least 30 minutes if we can, just to kind of give some additional thoughts, and then we'll wrap it up. But that'll be sometime tomorrow morning, probably in the 11 o'clock Mountain Time range, depending on flights. But again, thanks a lot. I'm proud of the fact that Bronco Nation News did what we did. Like I said, I know I'm not for everybody, but our company went to more games this year than anybody, provided more content than anybody, brought 2 people down here for this tournament, and the combination of the on-site coverage, the pregame, the postgame, all the you can say what you want, but you're still watching, and you're not getting any kind of this kind of coverage anywhere else. And so I am proud that your guys' support of our sponsors and your subscriptions made it possible for us to reinvest in the product in terms of paying to have Nathan come down here and all the other stuff that we've done, media days, have multiple people at, all that kind of stuff. So thank you. And hopefully we can continue to provide the coverage you guys want. Be more fun. Hopefully we can provide, discuss more wins for the basketball team moving forward, and especially down here in Vegas. But it is what it is. Again, final score 84-74. Tough loss for Boise State Hoops. Plenty to come in the offseason. We'll have you covered every step of the way. Again, we'll talk to you tomorrow at some point in the morning. And make sure when you wake up, you read BroncoNationNews.com. We've got plenty of coverage, and we'll have more coverage coming. So thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Tough season, but we'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News, signing off from the Thomas and Mack Center here in Las Vegas, the Jacksons Postgame Show. Go to Jacksons. They missed they got 74. So you can get your 99-cent coffee
That's right.
anytime, day or night, using the Let's Go Rewards app. And again, maybe you're going to need some extra Sun Cruisers to get through the weekend after this one. Make sure you pick up a Sun Cruiser. And when you're looking for that new vehicle, man, it all starts with our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise. They make this whole thing possible. So have a great rest of the your weekend, your night, and we'll talk to you at some point tomorrow to wrap it up from Vegas. But Boise State Falls, the season in all likelihood now is over, and we'll have the offseason covered for you. Bronco Nation News, online, BroncoNationNews.com. Good night, everybody.